Hello all my friends in internet land, I'm Dakia. I'm here with a product review for you. It's not a new product by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one that I only came across recently, and I had some harsh words for this product in a recent video. So I thought I should explain myself at more length exactly why I said the things I did. Now, you might be wondering, Milliput? What's wrong with Milliput? Well, it's not just Milliput. It's specifically this version, the Superfine white Milliput, which is supposed to be the very finest, in air quotes, grade. And it was in fact on the web store that I bought it, the only type of Milliput sold. And this was a miniatures website, so they must have thought it was appropriate somehow. Oh well. It comes, as most putties do, in these two separately packaged sticks that you cut off a little bit from each and combine to make a bit of Milliput. And I have already prepared by cutting off two equal small portions, and remove this aside so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to mix these up, and you'll note that my hands are clean beforehand. They are not wet, or they don't have any residue. I washed the hands and then dried them thoroughly. And you will note that as I am mixing, I should note that out of the two sticks, one of them is very much a putty. The other one feels more crumbly and sort of, I don't know how to describe it. But as I'm mixing it up, you'll see they leave a residue on my fingers. They're not, it's not, and I'm not going to put any water on my fingers at this stage. I'll show you later what water does to this stuff. The instructions say to blend for 5 minutes. I don't think it needs that much. And the instructions are wrong about a great many things. So now the color to me looks about even. But you'll notice that it's not... Most other putties I've tried do not leave this stuff on your fingers when you try to work it. And it feels slightly sticky to the touch. And so let's see what happens. I take a sculpting tool, which again is dry, and I try to work it. You'll note that a little bit sticks to it. This is not so bad because it's a relatively small and sharp implement. If I use this end, it's more obvious. It leaves a residue like it on my fingers. Don't know how well it comes across here. So it's kind of difficult to work with in this state, but it's possible to work with it. However, if I try to do something like use a basing stamp, now I'm just going to press straight onto it here. And try to peel it off. It doesn't work very well. You see, it leaves some of itself on the stamp. I'll try again and do it a bit more flatter. You see, to get this off, I would need to take it here, and no, it doesn't want to leave, and it comes off in pieces like this, and this is hopeless. It behaves more like sticky tack than anything else. I'm gonna have to cut here to just very quickly wash this stuff off. So at this point you might be saying, well, of course it sticks to stuff. It's dry. You need to wet it down, the surface, to make it, if you want to, you know, get it pliable and moldable and so forth. Everybody knows that, duh. Well, yeah, I thought I knew that too. That's what I do with green stuff and other putties. And the instruction booklet that comes with this in the packaging also says you should do that, just like with every putty. However, allow me to demonstrate. I'm going to stick my finger a little bit in my water cup, get some moisture, and rub it on the surface here. What happens? You'll see even more comes off. And it becomes, even with a slight amount of water, it becomes really, really hard to manage. And if you put it on a basing stamp, again, it's difficult to peel off. And yeah, okay, this time it leaves a better surface, but it still leaves a lot of crap on the stamp. I was going to say the mold. And it's not a very useful state to work with it in, because so much of it is coming off. I mean, if I were to add just a little bit more water, it starts to disintegrate completely. You see, I can't even mash it back into a ball. It's all just coming off on my fingers. And this is like a minute amount of water compared to what I'm used to working with when I work with green stuff or Procreate. If I were to add just a little bit more, this thing would become just a sludge in my hands. And like I said, it's a relatively tiny, tiny, tiny amount of water. So my conclusion, unfortunately, is that this particular product, this particular version of Milliput, we as miniature modelers, painters, we can't use it. Now, I'm not saying other types of Milliput are bad. I've seen people use the standard grade Milliput in videos, and it seems to work perfectly fine. So maybe I should go with that instead. There's an intermediary version called the silver gray, which is in, so again, air quotes, fineness. So it's supposed to be in between the standard and this stuff. Being the masochist experimental madman that I am, I might buy a packet of that to give it a try as well. What won't I do to advance knowledge? Anyway, that is my recommendation, warning, kind of review for you about the Superfine white Milliput. Stay the heck away from it. But for now, I'm Dakian, and I'm signing off.